Hello everyone and welcome back to the FRC Historian, where today I'm going to be covering the Saturday results of Week 5 events. First, I've been very generous with allotting us about 30 regionals a week, so I'll continue to do a brief overview of every single one, starting with Southern Florida, going to the end of the list, and ending with Hawaii, as it was the latest one to end about 10 minutes ago. Starting off with Southern Florida, teams 179, 180, and 58-75 of the first alliance beat the second alliance, making the first time for all three of them to win a regional and all qualify for Worlds. Next up, we're going to move on to the SPPLI Long Island Regional number 2, where teams 870, 1796, and 3624 of the second alliance beat the first alliance of 340, 3075, and 263. For those of you who did not know, Team 1468 decided to go back-to-back here, going at the first one and then starting qualifications for the second one the day after winning the first one. Sadly, as part of the sixth alliance, they did make it to the semis, but were beaten by a margin of about 40 points in both semifinals matches, becoming semifinalists, although hoping to go again. Next up, we're going to move on to the Buckeye Regional 2019. For those of you who didn't know, Team 379 has a streak. Ever since 2015, they have been unable to win a regional, I want to say. And sadly for them, the streak continued today as they got out in the semifinals. However, for teams 40-28, 48, and 41-45, they had a wonderful time winning against the 7th Alliance of 3003, 56-67, and 120, Cleveland's team. I was really hoping for 40-28 to win a regional, and I'm very excited that they did, after many finalists, after many semifinalists over the past few years. Next up, we're going to move on to the Smoky Mountains Regional, this one being in Knoxville, where the teams who won this event were part of the 4th Alliance, consisting of 42-65, 26-14, Mars, and 25-56, against the 3rd Alliance of 40-20, 23-86, and 39-66. Gladly for the Hall of Fame team 26-14, they have a great 2019 season so far, becoming the captain of the finalist alliance last year, and hopefully they can have continued success this year. Next up, onto the Minnesota 10,000 Lakes, sponsored by Medtronic Foundation, where in this Week 5 regional, the first alliance of teams 51-72, 20-52, and 30-26 beat the 3rd alliance of 31-02, 46-7, and 31-84, with the 3rd alliance pulling another trend to making it to the finals after upsetting the 2nd alliance and at 2-0. Next up in the Minnesota North Star Regional, another one in Minnesota, the 2nd Alliance won this event against the 4th Alliance. 2nd Alliance consisting of 18-16, 25-49, as well as 30-82, against the 4th Alliance of 39-26, 28-83, and 32-77. For those of you who didn't know, the 8th Alliance did upset the 1st, but got out in the semis. Next up, on the Wisconsin Regional, just across the border of the state, the 2nd Alliance of teams 65-74, 12-59, and 10-91 upset the 4th Alliance, beat the 4th Alliance at 31-97, 74-98, and 20-77. Giving all three of those passage to Worlds. Now next up, we're going to go into the Idaho Regional, where the 2nd Alliance of 36-47, 50-12, and 15-66 beat the 1st Alliance in 1983, 21-22, and 66-80. There were 3 finals matches, and although it was very close, with 2 matches coming down to only 5 points, in which the 2nd Alliance did win, they did win it up because successfully upset the 1st. Next up, we're going to go on to the Utah Regional, where we had Team 971-10 from California, and unsurprisingly, teams 34-78, 971, and 47-38 beat the 2nd Alliance 59-33, 1700, and 40-68. Although in the first match, the Blue Alliance, the 2nd Alliance, did beat the 1st Alliance by 6 points, and then the 1st Alliance would go on to win the next 2 finals matches, crowning them as the champions, giving 971 another regional win. Next up in the Ventura Regional in California, the 1st Alliance of 51-99, 44-14, 69-34 beat the 2nd Alliance of 294, 114, and 78-87. If you're wondering where the cheesy poofs are, they're in Silicon Valley, which we'll cover tomorrow night. Next up, the Las Vegas Regional, where teams 987, 842, and 74-25 of the 1st Alliance upset the 3rd Alliance, beat the 3rd Alliance of 33-09, 74-26, and 68-25. But the 3rd Alliance did upset the 2nd, and this was a more recent regional, with Team 987, the High Rollers, being able to beat the 3rd Alliance after losing the first match, winning the next 2, and securing their spot as the regional winners of their home field advantage. Next up, we're going to go on to the Indiana District Center Grove event, sponsored by Toyota. For the 1st Alliance, the 74, 57, 868, and 1741 beat the second last 829, 1747, and 5188. If you couldn't remember from Tippecanoe, 868 and 1747 teams up, However, in the finals, 868 and 74-57 took the cake and won the regional with 70-41. Next up, we're going to go on to our 5 First in Michigan matches, starting off with the First in Michigan Alpina event number 2, where 35-38, 33, and 70-84 beat the second Lions at 55-05, 107, and 78-23. If you're wondering, yes, 35-38 did win another event with 33. However, 35-38 was the first was the rank 1 Alliance captain, whereas at Southfield, the Bees were the rank 1 Alliance captain, with the Bees and 35-38 putting up scores in the hundreds. Next up, we're going to move on to East Kentwood, where in the finals, none of the teams had won a banner of 54-60, 27-67, 48-82 of the First Alliance, 20-54, 19-18, and 49-56 of the Third Alliance, all made it to the finals without never winning a banner. And teams 20-54, 19-18, and 49-56 of the Third Alliance really go to show how well they could do from Western Michigan at their home field turf, and went on to win against the First Alliance, crowning them as the champions. And now we'll have to wait for states to see a lot of those teams compete again. Next up, we're going to move on to our third First in Michigan district, which was Marysville, where in the finals, the First Alliance, the Green Engineers, Thunder Chickens in 71-92, beat the Third Alliance, the Dragons, the Martians in 74-91. In the finals, the rank 1 won both matches by a small margin, with the finals 2 coming down to a single point, giving the First Alliance 34-52, 217, and 71-92 all their first banners for the season. Although I'm not sure about 71-92, who was able to secure the second pick spot and play effective defense against the Third Alliance. Next up, we're going to move on to Shepherd, the 4th Michigan district, where in this case the Second Alliance beat the 4th of 11-18, 35-72, and 69-63. Beat the 4th Alliance of 50-84, 4004, and 65-33. However, the 8th Alliance did beat the 1st, but lost to the 4th in the semifinals. Next up, we're going to move on to the Troy event, where there was much dismay amongst the First Alliance of 245, 61-16, and 9-10, who in the quarterfinals were upset by the 8th Alliance in one match, and were almost upset by them again. In the semifinals, they were upset by the 5th Alliance in the first match, then won the next 2 by a slim margin. Then in the finals, were upset and beat by the Second Alliance of 51, 17-18, and 47-68, making them the champions against the First Alliance at 245, 9-10, and 61-17 wingspan, giving the Second Alliance a win, 17-18, their second banner, and clearance going on to the final, onto the states. Now we're going on to our 2 Ontario events with North Bay and Windsor, Essex. Now with North Bay event, teams 1305, 49-17 Sir Lancelot, and 45-19 of the Second Alliance upset the First Alliance to 13-10, 46-78, and 69-87 in 3 finals matches, where in the first one, the First Alliance won, but in the next 2, the Second Alliance clinched the victories with scores of 80 and 81 against 62 and 73. Next up in the Ontario Windsor Essex Great Lakes event, for those of you who didn't know, the Killer Bees attended this event for the last few years, but instead went to Alpena for this year, where Captain Symbiotics 1285 and 7480 of the First Alliance beat the Second Alliance at 4936, 772, and 4992, giving Symbiotics another win, another chance at reestablishing their long-lasting dynasty. Next up, our First in Texas Pasadena event, which ended today, where we had our alliance of 118, the Robonuts, 231, and 7691, beat the Second Alliance at 5414, 6800, and 7312, with the Captain the Robonuts doing well again, and being able to give another rank 1 regional win into the First in Texas District Championship. Next up, onto the Pacific Northwest Lake Oswego event 2019, where we had the First Alliance of 44-88, 40-43, and 41-10 win against the Second Alliance of 36-74, 24-71, and 51-98. Now finally onto the Hawaii Regional, which ended recently, as I stated, where teams 359, 368, and 55-15 beat the Second Alliance of 77-24, 38-82, 28-96. All you need to know is that teams 359, 368, and 55-15 all secured a win and are qualified for the World Championship. 359 after winning the last event, after being semifinals at the first event, winning on their own home turf, and are ready to go to Worlds stronger than ever at their first championship in Houston. Thank you all for listening. I'll come back tomorrow talking about the Sunday events, And until then, week 6 looked very promising. Week 7 especially looks promising. And we're almost done with our season. Thank you.